Well, more than 20 GOP senators are now urging President Obama to try the suspected Christmas Day body bomber in military court instead of civilian court. They are saying that a civilian court would allow Umar Farouk Abdul-Muttalib too many privileges, claiming a military tribunal would be the best way to gain more intel on others who were involved or people he came across in the training camps, other things that he heard about, in addition to the plan to blow up an airliner over Detroit. Now, Republican Senator David Vitter of the Armed Services Committee is one of those who has signed this letter to the president, and he joins us now. Senator, welcome. Good to have you here.
Thank you, Martha. Good to be with you.
You know, in reading your letter this morning, the thing that jumped out to me was that the FBI, according to your letter, the FBI had a very short period of time to talk to Abdul-Muttalib,
right,
but the CIA never questioned him at all before that door closed?
Apparently, that's the information. It's also our best information that he was giving valuable information until he was lawyered up. And as soon as he got a lawyer and he was literally read his Miranda rights, you have the right to remain silent. I mean, imagine telling a terrorist who just tried to blow up an airliner, you have the right to remain silent, not a U.S. citizen. As soon as that happened, he completely shut up. To me, that is a clear example of why this is a really bad policy.
Now, you know, clearly the administration, the Obama administration, wants to do as much of these things in civilian court as they can. They want to prove a point that they feel needs to be made with our legislative system, and that they can trust it and rely on it. But what's interesting to me is that they could have extended that window completely legally during the time period and continued to question him and gain intelligence before reading him his rights, due to work that was done and went all the way to the Supreme Court under Michael Chertoff. So why did they not take advantage of what was legally their time frame to do that, and do you think?
I think they're completely focused on public relations in Europe and elsewhere around the world instead of fighting and winning what is a real war. What I'm most concerned about in terms of this whole incident is the attitude it suggests on the part of the president personally and his administration.
But what
it suggests they think this is some law enforcement issue, not a real war, and it suggests it is not, at least before this incident, high on their day-to-day agenda in terms of being a real sort of emergency situation.
Well, what do you say to those who say Richard Reed was tried in a federal court, he's in prison now in Colorado, the system worked there, why should this person be held to a different standard?
Well, Richard Reed's event happened about 3 months after 9/11. Guantanamo wasn't even open then. Just a month earlier, the president had signed an order about military tribunals. They weren't even up and running then. So I think we need to learn over time, and we need to learn that we shouldn't extend constitutional rights unnecessarily to enemy combatants. We have never done that in any previous war.
What do you expect the response is going to be to this letter? Have you heard anything back from the White House yet?
We haven't heard anything formally about this letter. Obviously, they seem very focused on their policy of moving away from Guantanamo and any military tribunals, and I just think that's a fundamental mistake. And again, to me, it suggests a whole wrong attitude in terms of what we're dealing with.
I thought it was interesting. Also, you all cited in your letter from John Brennan, the National Security Council advisor. He said, you know, that he, meaning the suspect here, he doesn't have to speak to the government, but he knows that there are certain things that are on the table, and if he wants to, in fact, engage with us in a productive manner, there are ways that he can do that. So it's almost like, perhaps in negotiations and plea deal agreements, he might be convinced to share more things with us to sort of save his own hide.
Any decent American criminal defense lawyer will tell him, do not say a word unless and until you get something for it. Why is that in our national security interest to set up that sort of situation? That's exactly what this does.
All right, David Vitter, Senator David Vitter, good to have you with us, sir.
Thanks,
and
Martha.
Let us know if you get some response to this letter, would you?
Great.
All right, thank you.